Hi, and welcome to the lounge on this Friday evening. I think I need a little bit of background music. There we go. There we go. How are you doing tonight on the lounge? How's everybody's Friday going for you? I know we're going into a very cold weekend here on the lovely East Coast. Please say hello. Let me know what temperature you're going to be at over the weekend. I think we're going to be at 12 over here in Northeast Pennsylvania. I know I was talking to somebody out in the Lake Placid area where our retreat's going to be at Bay, and they were saying that it's like negative 20 going to be in the Adirondacks. So it's interesting when the cold weather starts to happen and we hunker down, and it's actually a time where we could really connect with our intuition and our spirit. So whenever there is like extreme weather, it tends to be a little more active on the other side. I don't know if anybody knew that, but that's kind of what I've experienced over my many years of doing this work. So please say hi. Let me know where you're from. Let me know where you're viewing from. And I'd love to hear what your weather's like. If you're on the West Coast, it's probably nice and sunny. So tonight we are going to be really diving into a topic that we haven't had on the lounge yet in the last 3 years, which is essential oils, aromatherapy, and how it can be used in the healing process. So I'm very excited to have Patty come on, our lovely guest for this evening. And actually, I met Patty because I ended up going to a healing center nearby. And my daughter and I, we did a little spa day. And Patty did a private essential oils class. And we really didn't know what was going to be involved, but I got way more out of it than I even thought. Like it was way more than I had expected. And I actually came away with a little gift that I'm going to show when Patty comes on to ease, when I'm feeling overwhelmed or anxiety or stress. I just kind of roll the oil on my wrists and I smell it. And the cool thing is that I was able to like make it myself, like make my own unique blend. And she was like, I don't think I've ever seen anybody make this before. And I was like, well, there's a first time for everything. And my daughter made one too, and hers smelled amazing. What's interesting is that she's like, I want you to smell this one. This is for like intuitive people that, do readings and stuff and for grounding. And I smelled it and I almost gagged. Like I was like, what is this? I can't even breathe. I'm like gagging. She's like, oh my God, like every like person that needs grounding and intuition that does this work, it's like supposed to be like a healing type of, grounding smell. And I was like, I must be really like high up there, like in the clouds, because this is not jiving with me. She's like, and so she asked a couple other practitioners in the place. They're like, I think she needs it. I'm like, maybe I do. So maybe that's the next one. But I'm kind of enjoying just like the positive smells right now. I really don't want to be like smelling something that I'm going to be like, like, I don't know. Like, even if I need it, I think right now I'm just going to go with the more comforting thing. That's probably the best thing. So let me just see who's in the chat. Just want to say hi. Hi, Kimberly. Nice to see you on tonight. I'm used to my regulars and I'm not used to seeing your name. So welcome if you're new. It's good to see you. Let us know where you're from and if you are experiencing cold, extreme temperatures this weekend. It just a little. Oh, here's Angela. 15 degrees here. Okay, good. Okay, so New Jersey is usually like 7 to 10 degrees warmer than we are. So I guess we're gonna, if it's 15 there, it's probably gonna be like 3 here. But good to see you, Angela. You're here every week. We really appreciate that. Thank you so much for coming. Okay, Taylor. So Kimberly, you're like really close by. So to where we are in the Pennsylvania Northeast PA area. So hopefully you're enjoying some Old Forge pizza, which Taylor and Old Forge, if nobody knows this that's watching, we are the pizza capital of the world. Okay. So there's a little sign. It says pizza capital of the world, but not other people think that they're the pizza capital of the world. So pizza pie is there as not a pie. It's an actual tray of pizza. So if you go into Old Forge, pizza capital of the world, which is next to Taylor, and you go in and say, I'd like a large pie, they're going to be like, we don't sell apple pie here. Okay. So we don't get it. So it's a tray when you come here because it's like coal mining town. You know what I mean? So they put it on an actual tray and it's like square pizza. Anyway, not like you wanted to hear about that, diatribe, but you got to try the pizza here. I know people that come from New Jersey and try the pizza. they're like, this is disgusting because it doesn't have mozzarella cheese on the trays of pizza. It has American cheese blend, and I'm used to it because I'm from the area. This cheese blend, but it's people from New Jersey like this is. I'm like, yeah. If you like, you're not going to be accepted around here if you don't like if you don't go ask for a tray, and if you don't like, you know, if you don't eat the pizza and think it's good. So like if you come over and like start to complain in Old Forge, like they don't care. It's not about customer service in Old Forge. They'll be like, you don't like it, leave. That's what it's going to be like for you. So if I don't know, this is totally off track. Okay, totally off track. But there's a guy, Dave Portnoy, right? He's Barstool Sports. He talks about sports and stuff, but I don't care about his sports stuff. He goes and he reviews pizza like all over the country, and there's like a little app that he has, and he's like, if there's like an 8.5, it's like amazing, and you go and you try that pizza. Well, he came here like last year, and he went to Old Forge and tried the pizza, and it got good reviews. It didn't get any 8s or anything, but he didn't complain about it, which is good. So Megan's like, yeah, you can't beat the pizza, obviously, but you can't come here and call it a pie either. Avi, it's good to see you back in New Jersey for the weekend. Good to see that. I guess you're going to be cold and not used to Florida like you are down there. All right. So just a couple announcements before we get going here. Let's see. So if you're new, make sure that you're liking us on Facebook. Make sure you're clicking the like button so you can follow all these live streams, right? Really important. And if you're on YouTube, make sure you subscribe so you get an email every time we go live. That's what you want to do. If you want to get on my newsletter and get our monthly energy forecast where I go over every day of the month on the 15th of every month, and you're not on my list, go take the quiz. What's your intuitive superpower? If you've already taken the quiz, you're on the list. And it'll give you one of 4, types. What's your intuitive type? Because you can't start to build your intuition and your amazing talent if you don't know what your dominant strength is and what type you are. So you can join the list via the link in the description of the video. There's links to do all this stuff. You want to make sure that you have that going. Now, if you were with us last year, okay, we do a Valentine's Day event once a year. It's a 3-hour workshop. It's called Intuidate Live. It was 2022 last year, and it's 2023 this year. We have that on Monday, February 13th. 7 to 10 p.m. There will be a replay if you can't join us live. But it's all about the theme this year is magnetizing your soulmate love relationship. Now, that doesn't mean you have to be single. You could be married, single, partner, dating in a situation that's complicated and you're confused. That's fine too. We don't care what it is. It's all about up leveling your fulfillment in love. And we are going to be having a co-host this year. So it's not just me. A former Lounge attendee, Emmy Hernandez. She's been on a bunch of TV shows and she does her own thing. She was one of our favorite Lounge guests last year. She's going to be doing live coaching and I'm going to be doing the intuitive part. So we're going to have 2 trainings. We're going to have 3 hot seats. So you can actually apply to be one of those 3 people that come on with us. And we're going to just dissect your love life and we're going to get you on the right track. And if you sign up before February 8th, you get $50 off if you're a viewer of the Lounge. And also, you're going to get before that time a soulmate love meditation that you could start doing immediately to start upping your vibration in love. That sounds great, doesn't it? I'll show you a little banner of what our little event looks like. So it's on Zoom, February 13th, 7 to 10 p.m. That's Emmy, if you remember her from last year. And she's like no holds barred. Okay, so she's going to kick your butt. She's going to tell you what you need to do. And I'm going to be the more, nice, but I'll tell you how it is too. But I'm going to make you feel good with the intuitive stuff. So you're going to have intuitive insights, love coaching live. You can ask questions in the chat and you get a bunch of really cool bonuses. So I'm going to put the link in the chat so you can sign up if you'd like to. You don't need a coupon code at all because, it's already in there. It's already there. Ta-da! All right. So it's going to say attention soulmate seekers link to register. you don't have to be seeking a soulmate. You could already be with your soulmate, but you want your level of fulfillment and the commitment you desire and the love you desire to go through the roof this year. That's what we're trying to do. So that's what we're going to do. But now on to Patty. Okay, now that you guys know all about that. I know I go off on tangents, but that's why you guys listen, because you like me talking about pizza and mediumship and intuition and cats and whatever else. If you want me to talk about another topic, you can put it in there. Hey, Marissa, I want you to talk about, you know, the 80s. I can do that just fine. So, but I think what we got to do now is we got to talk about Patty because that's like really important. Okay, so let me pull up Patty's. Hold on here, Patty. Don't go anywhere. I have to pull up your little thing that I have that your little event. All right, so let's talk about Patty. She is an essential oil teacher, author, and guide. And her mission is to empower people to move toward their purpose by showing them how to get out of their own way. We all like that, and create more calm, confidence, and connection in their life. It's all about connection. She loves working with teens, teachers, and anyone willing to lean in and really get to know themselves. In addition to writing, speaking, and teaching, she's a holistic minister, a trauma informed SEL consultant. I want to ask what that is because that sounds interesting because we always have trauma informed people on our show. Aroma Freedom Technique practitioner, mindfulness teacher, and teen empowerment coach. Now, what are we going to be talking about today? The basics of the AromaFreedom Technique, how to use aromatherapy to shift and clear limiting beliefs that no longer serve us. That's important. Why we use the power of scent association to create new empowering beliefs, general safety, quality guidance about essential oils, and how a 60-second reset can turn your day around and help retrain your brain. Oh my God, I'm loving it, and loving Patty. And I have a little surprise for Patty. So let's give a warm welcome on the lounge to Patty McLean. Hi, Patty.
Hi, everybody.
How are you today?
So excited. I love the conversation about the pizza, and I love that some of my people chiming in on that, or my friends, so they're here. So, hi.
Yes, yes. So let me ask you, where are you from in the Valley?
I'm actually from Moscow, like Springbrook. So,
Oh,
right
oh,
above Old Forge. I just have to go down 502 to get to Old Forge.
okay. So you have probably tried Fairy's Pizza with the coal mining artifacts and all that. Like
I
you go into the
graduated
coal
from high
mine.
school with Sabrina Ferry. So, yeah, I'm very familiar.
Okay. So what do you think of that pizza? How do you feel about it?
I love the Ferry family. I'm not the biggest fan of square pizza, actually, but it's delicious if you like
Uh,
pizza.
I like the round New York style thin crust myself. But so what's your favorite pizza in Northeast Pennsylvania since that's all we talk about here?
That's a tough one.
Hmm.
Pappy's just reopened actually, and they have square and round pizza at Pappy's in Springbrook. So I'm gonna have to go.
Can we talk about K's? Can we talk about
Oh yeah,
K's?
yeah.
Okay, okay.
You brought
So
up the American cheese blend, so Kay's is known for their American pie, which is unique.
yeah, right. Awesome. Well, let's talk a little bit about you. So, how I met Patty is through her little workshop that she had for myself and my daughter that was kind of like put together that same day. And we did a lot of things. We did reflexology, we did art. We had a whole day that we put together of like a little holistic excursion. And we came back with our rollers that we made with Patty. And, Maine, my daughter said, that was my favorite part of the day was with Patty because she still used a roller. She takes it to school before she has a test. She uses this roller. So, I mean, you're just great with kids. I know you said you take this into schools in the area too and talk to them about essential oils, right? Is that what you said? Or am I like
I
not?
work in a lot of schools. Some of them are more open to the essential oils than others. But when I train teachers, I get to bring this in. But the principles that we're going to talk about why the oils help with healing are things that I can discuss with anybody really. So
Okay. Yeah. So, in schools, do you have them smell the essential oils like you had us smell them, or you just talk about the benefits?
in it depends on the school, honestly, but yeah, we can bring in like samples on cotton balls. And the good thing about using therapeutic grade oils, I know we're going to talk about quality, is that there's no concern about like allergic reactions and things like that. So it's good. but the whole process and just the knowledge that there are tools out there that people can use that will help them navigate difficult emotions. So I plant a lot of seeds when I'm in schools, and then I get to go really in depth here at the Wellness Center.
Yeah, this is great. I have my little vial that I made, right? So what's interesting is, right? I have a sign from the other side that I've determined like this is a sign from somebody that passed in my life, okay? I tend to be a little messy. Like I have a purse that has tons of stuff in it. So I knew that, this little black bag with the vial was down there somewhere. I pull it out and there's this chocolate. I don't know if you guys could see this. This chocolate penny with the tail side up stuck to it, right? I don't know where it came from. It's probably just chocolate my daughter put in there. But the penny with the tail side up is the sign from my loved one from the other side. And it is stuck to this essential oil bag and I can't get it off. And it's like, could you, like, is it that it's that obvious? You know what I
It's
mean? So
perfect, especially considering what you put in your
I
blend,
know
which is one of my favorite oils ever. So
this is my roller that I created with Patty and it has little
creative.
stickers.
You can tell she decorated it herself.
I decorate it myself, and this is what you do. So if I'm overwhelmed, my nervous system's out of whack, right? I teach nervous system regulation. So I just go like this on my wrists with her, and I'm just rubbing it around. And then I go, oh my God. I can't even run out of this. I don't want to run out of this. This is awesome. It's actually peppermint. I decided this is something I put together intuitively myself. Patty smelled it and she's like, wow, that's cool.
The
So
peppermint was actually a late addition. You're on the fence about
late
the
addition.
peppermint.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was a drop of peppermint at the end because I wasn't sure I want to mess with it. But it was Valor from Young Living. It was then vanilla and then peppermint. And every time I smell it, and you told me if I'm having a trigger, like an emotional trigger or a memory or something overwhelming, all I have to do is rub it on my wrists and smell it, and it'll like reprogram the sensation that I'm feeling when these memories are coming up, right? Is that what you said? I hope I'm not putting words in your mouth.
No, well, it's a little bit more nuanced than that, but
Yeah.
the beauty of it is that the effectiveness happens regardless of the mechanics, I guess. But the
Yeah.
Valor blend that you put in there is really grounding, and it's a blend, but it has one of the primary plants in it is the Northern Lights black spruce. So spruce
Mm.
trees grow up in northern Canada in extreme temperatures, and they have really deep roots, and they grow really, really tall, and they also absorb all the energy of the northern lights. So
Oh.
understanding the constituents of what the plant is really helps, because a lot of people will be like, what's this oil do? What's that oil do? Kind of like with crystals, right? Everybody
Yeah.
wants to know like what it does. And the awesome part about this is that you can feel intuitively what it does without knowing what plants are in there. But once you understand even just that piece about this spruce tree, it makes so much sense why when we connect with it, we can feel that energy. And that's
Yeah. That's really interesting because I knew it was Valor, but I didn't ever get a chance to say, well,
what's in
like
Valor.
what's in Valor, right? So is it only that the spruce tree or is there other things?
It's a blend. It has blue tansy, the legend of Valor. So Valor is another word for courage, and it's actually an oil that my son and I have used every morning since he was a toddler, because that's a great way to start the day is with this idea of courage or valor. But it has some florals in it. That's the blue tansy. It has the black spruce. The legend of the Valor is that it was the blend that was used in medieval times before a knight would go into battle. They would take these aroma baths and use the different herbs and flowers in the bath to fortify their courage before they go into battle. And
Oh.
so I love that about Valor too. But it smells great and it's really grounding, which for those of us who tend to be high energy or highly intuitive, grounding, any tool we can
Ah.
find to help ground is a really good one.
Now what's interesting is that I'm obsessed with the Northern Lights. Like I've always wanted to go there and see them. I haven't yet.
Me neither,
But
but I'm going. It's on
y-
my
yeah,
list.
the tree. And then I've done obviously like past life regressions and I was like since I was a little kid I'm obsessed with like castles and knights and medieval stuff, and I saw it in like a past life. So I was like, and knights. And so it's interesting that two of the things that I'm kind of obsessed with are in like Valor.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. And you picked it yourself. So just so all the listeners understand, I have hundreds of oils. And when Marissa and her daughter came, I had a select few. I didn't bring all of them, but I really wasn't sure which ones they would resonate with. And so there were some floral ones, there were some citrus ones, and you did like the citrus ones. But then once
Yeah,
you smelled the
I
Valor,
did.
you were like, no, this one. And
Yeah.
I've used Valor every day, like I said, for years, and I never thought to mix it with vanilla. And when I smelled it when you did it, it's now like one of my favorite things ever.
Have you? Oh, really? You actually do it for yourself too?
Yeah, I put it in the diffuser. I mean, my whole house smelled like that.
Oh my god, it's so like it gives you that like when you walk in somebody's house and they are baking something sweet, but it's not too sweet because it's got this like depth of like subtlety
Yeah,
and like it's just like tree bark. I don't know how to explain it, but it's like it's not floral, it's not sweet. It's just like
it's good.
oh, it just makes you
I
feel
know.
so
I
good.
was telling Marissa before we started. It's so interesting to have a conversation about aromatherapy or essential oils, where nobody can have the experience because we're basically like, imagine
Yeah,
what a tree smells like.
yeah,
But
yeah.
it's awesome to have an experience. And so, if anybody's listening, I'd absolutely love to send you samples, even just so you can smell it for yourself.
Yeah,
Um,
and I plan, in our group, we have groups and stuff that do my classes and people that are in our group trainings. And I told them I'm like I have to bring Patty to do a guest speaking workshop on essential oils. So if you're part of our student base, I'm going to ask Patty if she'll come and do a little presentation for you, uh, for your for our school and for our students. So that would be wonderful. Which we have online. So if you're interested in that, just reach out. And yeah, so you can do this over Zoom, right, with people. And I know, like, I always bring on practitioners and guests that are trauma informed because that's a big thing for me. Big advocate for people who, do have. Sometimes I don't like to use the word trauma because sometimes people are like, well, I have to have this big trauma in order to have nervous system dysregulation or be overwhelmed or stressed or have a lot of anxiety all the time. Like, no, you could have in your childhood moved when you were 6 and left your friends and family. That could be a disruption. So I like to call them early energy disruptions instead of like
Ooh, I like
I like
that.
just keep it light. But for people that are like me, highly sensitive, highly intuitive, anybody watching this show is probably in the same boat. We do have that sensitivity to energy, whether it's in our environment, the world, people around us. We feel everything. So it's easy for our nervous system to kind of go, ooh, I'm overwhelmed. I'm triggered. I'm in fight or flight, whatever. And all you got to do is like, this is a tool. This is a tool you can use kind of like your breathing tools or your movement tools or yoga. But this is like right in the moment. You're feeling nervous. You're feeling stressed, overwhelmed, heart's racing, a little bit triggered. Somebody upset you. Ah, the memory just fades. It's really great. It's really great.
And there's a couple pieces to that too that um, I want to highlight. You mentioned breath
Yes.
work. So a
Yes.
lot of, especially the young people that I work with who've struggled, they have, uh, they're almost triggered by people telling them to breathe, right?
Mhm.
Because they're dysregulated. Somebody's well-meaning telling them to breathe, but they don't have the tools or the skills yet. So they start linking up this idea of breathing with how they're feeling with the dysregulation. So I have a lot of kids that will tell me breathing doesn't work for me. So the oils are brilliant in a few ways. First of all, your sense of smell is the only one that bypasses the thalamus and goes right to your amygdala, which is where the whole fight or flight thing is. But if you give somebody an oil and tell them to smell it and they take a deep breath to smell it, they're going to get the regulation from the breathing too. And it's no longer that association of these grown-ups keep telling me to breathe, right? So it's such a great thing. I've worked with a couple of young kids now who need the deep breathing, but refuse to do it. So when you tell them to smell the oil, they're getting the benefits of the aromatherapy, but they're also getting the benefits of the breath work. And that makes me so happy to create that new association, which is obviously something else we're going to talk about. But
Yeah, and what I really like that you're saying, and I've actually was just having this conversation downstairs before I came up about like breathing and people that are having, anxiety. And I'm like, yeah, if somebody's a little nervous or stressed, you could tell them to breathe. But people that have post traumatic stress disorder or any form of trauma and they're going into a dysregulated state because of trauma or having a flashback or whatever it is, or just having that nervous system go way out of whack. A lot of people that I know who have these types of things are like, I want to punch somebody in the face when they're telling me to breathe. You know what I mean? It's not like you don't understand. Just telling me to breathe is like making it worse. So
and
it's kind
and
of
that's why, because they've linked up all these
yeah,
well-meaning people. So now the
yeah.
word breath is almost like telling
Oh,
them to calm down, right? Never in the history of calming
yes.
down has that ever worked to tell somebody to calm down.
Relax, calm down. Just stop being upset. It's like it's going to make it worse.
And we know the science of breath work. We know that if they actually do engage in deep breathing, that it will
Mhm.
regulate their nervous system, but not if they have the mindset that breathing is like not going to work.
Distraction is always something that really works well for me. And so when you gave me this tool and said, I work with people with PTSD with complex trauma, you said, this is a tool. And it's always great for somebody like me to get another regulating tool in my toolbox to say, you know what, if I'm like it's right before like a meeting and I'm nervous, I can just do this for a few seconds. It's not like it's going to be the end all be all fix for like, getting me like super grounded, but it can provide relief in that moment.
Right. And the great thing is the more frequently you do it, the more you create that association. So the reason that
Right.
my son and I used Valor every day, even when we were fully regulated, it works regardless, but it was actually just to create that anchor so that in the future, if we were struggling and we smelled it, we would have all of that association. And sense associations are so powerful. I'm sure the listeners, people who are watching, have probably walked by somebody in a store and they're like, "Whoa, that smells like my mom," or
Yeah, yeah.
smell a certain food and you're like, "My grandma used to make that." So our sense of smell is also directly connected to our memories, which we know the nature of traumatic memory is that so many of the implicit memories are what hold us back from reaching some of our goals, because it's just
Yeah.
our nervous system trying to protect us. So if we can get to that seat of the memory and allow it to dissolve in a gentle way, it's such a relief, but it's also uh, an amazing tool to help us move forward.
Absolutely. I just think it's amazing. And every time I put it on, I'm like, I can't use too much of this because I'm gonna have to go back to Patty and find out I'm gonna get more of
You
this.
never use too many. Just for the record, if anybody's wondering, you can't overdose on essential oils. I get
It's
asked that
such a
question a lot, and I'm like, no, it's all good. It's a plant, and that's what's beautiful about oils too. Is that as humans, we can use what we need from plants, and if there's ever anything that we don't need, our body knows what to do with it. So it's not like there's side effects or anything like that, which is really how I got into essential oils in the first place. Was I was trying to look for alternatives to synthetics, and um, my son was really sensitive to anything synthetic, so I was like, what am I going to do now?
right.
And
Right.
so learning about plants was initially just for that reason. I was just like, I need something that doesn't have toxins and chemicals in it.
Yeah, and now speaking of essential oils, there's two questions I have about that. If people are like, okay, if you want to like really clear yourself, or clear your energy, soak in Epsom salt and put a little bit of lavender essential oil. But there's been like I think there was one time I got a massage like a long time ago where they used essential oil, and I mean I just got red. My skin got really red. My skin's very sensitive, but like the essential oils that I have with you, I don't have any problem. So like putting them in the bathtub, would that really irritate somebody to put it in the bathtub, like and bathe in it?
I'm so glad that you asked, because all
Yeah.
essential oils are not created
Mhm.
equal.
Okay.
Um, and so I was so upset to learn this. There's a lot of issues in like food industry and beauty products and stuff, where label laws are kind of vague. So we know, like, if some foods are labeled organic, that they may not be completely organic. They were just sort of organic at some point. And so when it comes to essential oils, the way this standard is, they fall under the perfume industry. So in order to be
Okay.
labeled 100% pure, an essential oil only has to have 10%, like 10% of that has to be pure in order for them to get the label of 100% pure, because that 10% is pure and the other 90% could be filler, it could be synthetic. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so that made me really cautious, especially because my whole purpose in getting into this was to avoid synthetics and toxins. So that's why we really encourage people to use pure therapeutic grade. You mentioned that I use Young Living. I only use Young Living because I've been to their farms. So I got to go to Utah and I got to participate in the whole process. They call it seed to seal. So I saw the organic farming practices. I know it's sustainable and good for the earth. I know how they harvest. I know how they distill. And I'm a big nerd, right?
Yeah.
Like, I need to know everything. But not only did I study it before I went, but when I experienced it firsthand, I was like, okay, I can trust this. And so I have a lot of people who will go get a $5 lavender from, you know, the drugstore, and they'll be like, I don't know, it wasn't very calming.
Right. Right. Right.
So I'm not sure which oils you experienced during your massage. And there is
Yeah.
times with therapeutic grade oils that there may be a redness to the skin if there's toxins, like it'll pull toxins out.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so,
It was
generally,
like burning. It was like burning my skin.
yeah, that's
Yeah, that's
generally.
probably not good.
Um, just for the record, though, if anybody listening has a reaction to an essential oil, the practice is to dilute it with another, what we call a carrier oil. So it would be like olive oil or maybe a massage oil. I
Mm.
love to use avocado oil. So any organic oil will dilute an essential oil. But
Yeah,
what
and you had me put the vegetable oil in here, right? Once you put
that's
the
our
oil.
B6 complex. So it has, that's the carrier oil, and it's also organic, but it also dilutes the potency a little bit. Essential oils are incredibly potent if they're therapeutic grade.
And you had me
Little
put these
crystals.
little the yeah, these little amethyst. Oh my god, this is the cutest thing. It's like a message in a bottle. It's like this little amethyst crystals that are in the bottom of my roller to like charge. You get to pick those with Patty too.
Yeah.
It's just I gotta have to do like a local, like
Those are
some sort
available
of
on
local
Amazon.
event.
If anybody's
You know,
looking for the crystals, I got those off Amazon.
yeah, the crystals and the rollers too, right? Like you
Yeah.
could buy them on Amazon.
We
And
recommend metal rollers if you're making your own rollers, the metal roller balls, just because we putting essential oils in anything plastic, since plastic is a toxin, there could be, it could dissolve the plastic, and that
yes.
is not a best practice either.
Yeah. Now I do have another question that I want to get your take on this. I have cats, right? So I heard that cats are allergic to essential oils. Is that true?
I love that question too. I have two cats,
Okay.
and they absolutely love the oils. But again,
Really? Okay.
this is a combination between quality and best practices.
Right, right,
So
right.
if you put your diffuser on in a small room and close the cat in the room where it can't go anywhere, it's probably not going to react well to it. It's not going to hurt it, but that's not something that anybody should be doing. There was a big article going around on social media a couple of years ago about a cat that was exposed to essential oils and it got really sick. And there was a couple of things. First of all, it was basically hot boxed. And second of all, it was a low quality oil. So just for reference, you mentioned lavender. Lavender and camphor, the plants in the wild, they grow together. Camphor is not good for cats. Lavender is fine for cats. So if it's not a therapeutic oil with good farming practices, if it's like a $5 lavender from the drugstore, there may be camphor in there, and that's not good for a cat. So knowing your quality and sourcing, as far as the therapeutic oils, I think there's like two or three. You could Google it, or I'll send some more information that they don't recommend using around cats. But honestly, my cat has never avoided any of them. He actually really loves them. He'll like
Okay.
lay on my oil kit, and there's holistic veterinarians out there who treat all sorts of animals. I've used essential oils on cats, dogs, horses. Horses love the oils.
Wow.
So, and even in regards to trauma, so a lot of animals who've experienced trauma, my dog's a rescue dog. And so there's a pet blend that Young Living has that's called TOA, and it's to help with some of that in animals. All the horses on the Young Living farm are rescued too, so they use the oils on the rescue horses to help them. And so I'm just as passionate actually about the emotional support for the animals as I am the humans.
Wow. So I guess I don't have dogs, but for the dog lovers that are out in the audience, are are the essential oil issues that cats have the same as dogs, or do dogs have sensitivities to different ones other than like camphor?
Um, if a cat were to have an issue, it would probably just be in processing. I think it. Don't quote me on this, but I think it has something to do with the cat's kidneys. Like I said, I
Oh,
don't know any. I have
yeah.
lots of friends with cats and oils, and I've never heard of any problems if they're using good oils and best practices. When you're using oils on the animals, it's just to dilute them a lot. Like one drop is probably way too much for a cat. I use one drop on my dog, but he's probably like 90 pounds. So my dog loves the Peace and Calming blend. My dog loves Valor. I love the Peace and Calming blend when I'm trying to work because he's part husky and he likes to get mouthy. So I just calm him down a little bit with some oils. And there's a whole pet line of oils that are specifically formulated for animals, and so that's pretty
So
cool.
wait, how do you know your dog likes essential oils? How do you know? Like obviously like the dog's not telling you. Well, how do you know the dog likes the certain blend? Like tell me about this.
Well, the animals have body language
Yeah,
too.
yeah, yeah.
A friend of mine, a really close friend of mine, went out to Sedona and got certified in animal aromatherapy. And she told me a big part of her training was introducing options to the animals and letting them, because animals don't have a mental block. They're not like, this is weird or this isn't going to work. So intuitively, they know what they need. And so you can tell, like they recommend, just cracking the bottle open and seeing if the dog, like if the dog leaves the room, probably doesn't like that one. But
Right, right.
my friend has a rescue dog that's a pit bull, and every time I'm over, because I'm constantly covered in oils, Miss Ethel May, she likes to lick like my hands all the time. So she clearly loves whatever is there, and she needs it. Like she wouldn't be licking me if it was going to harm her, right? Dogs are smarter
Mm.
than that.
Right, right, right. So I also heard that if you don't want cats scratching your furniture, to put essential oil on the like couch and they won't scratch it. Did you ever hear that?
um, no, but I wonder what oil it would be.
Like lemon, like think a citrus, like a lemon or orange.
Okay.
I don't know.
There's a blend we have called Purification that is a lemongrass blend that is great to get pet smells out of things. It neutralizes
Oh,
odors.
cool,
So
cool.
I've definitely used that to neutralize odor, but my cat is pretty good with his cat tower, so I never really had to look into that.
Oh, all
And
right.
if Kimberly and Megan are still on, they're both oilers. So if you guys know anything about cats, put it in the comments.
That's great. Well, we have Megan saying she can't beat the pizza in any PA, so we'll see if she has anything about the oils. So I have to say that you're the first person, and I mean, I've known a lot of people over the years who sold Young Living, and so I was kind of skeptical because there's a little like the sales stuff that they were doing, with the oils. I was like, oh, this is just a kind of like a sales
Marketing.
thing,
Yeah.
yeah, marketing sales thing. So every time someone else would talk about it, Young Living, I'd be like, oh, like I don't know, like is this just they're trying to, it's like they sell stuff on the side, you know what I mean? It's kind of I didn't know how to think about it, but with you now, I'm thinking maybe Young Living is like I'm not so skeptical of it now, like
I appreciate
maybe because
that.
yeah, like that I'm like because you don't ever know like what oils to really believe are the best oils because everybody who's selling their own oil is like this is the best oil,
Oh,
you know.
absolutely. And that's
So
why I like to empower people to just to do what I did, like to look it up. And
yeah.
as is the case with anything online, you'll find people from rival companies
Right,
saying
right, right.
terrible things. So intuition really plays a fact here. For me, what did it was going to the farm, and I've been with Young Living for 10 years, so I know exactly what you're saying about
Yeah.
people that are marketing and selling stuff. And um, every single person, actually, Kimberly and Megan, who are both on here, they've both been with Young Living for over 10 years too. So I think that speaks to the quality and the community a lot. But as is the case with everything, there's people who get it wrong.
Right. Yeah. It was
And
just like the people this is like early on in my career, like I met
yeah,
certain, and it just felt like it felt like a salesy thing, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, my approach is more just to be a product of the
Like, here
product
it
that you
is. Yeah.
serve. Like, hey, try this. Like, worst
Yeah.
thing that's going to happen is that you're going to smell good.
Exactly. And I loved this is the first time I ever the way you do it is just um I'm like obsessed. I'm like obsessed with the way you do things because we really had an experience. It wasn't like here use this lavender when you're stressed and just put it on you and buy the eucalyptus when you're have a cold and put it on your feet. It was like, hey, let's explore these things and how they relate to your stress and your overwhelm and your anxiety, and let's build a blend based on your intuition that is unique to you that you can use like anytime. Maine came home one day and she was like, I had a test today and I was really, stressed out before the test and I wish I had my essential oil to use. And I'm like, oh my God, you didn't bring it with you. So she's going to come on tonight and talk about her experience with
Well,
you
I can't
because
wait to see her and the blend that she chose out of all of them. She liked a few of them, but she ended up with one of our kids' blends. So we have blends that are specifically for kids, and the one she uses is my son's favorite test day oil too. It's the Genius blend. But it was so amazing for me to watch her just explore, and I I think anything like this has to be an experience. And they're so versatile, and what works for me may work differently for you. So I've never been one to be like, this is the oil for this, because one oil could do so many amazing things. So I also don't like to pigeonhole them into one job.
right. Yeah, and Kimberly is saying the experience and the impact it makes someone's life is profound. Yeah, I'm just getting started here at learning about this, and I'm just like, can't wait to do it again. Can't wait
Like,
to do it again. So I want to ask you, if somebody is listening to this, obviously they can't smell what I'm smelling on my wrists, and we're talking about it. And if anybody out there, if you have a question about like, hey, if I'm experiencing this, what oil should I use? Or what would be the recommended oil, or on average, what the oil? Just put it in the chat and I'd be happy to ask Patty if she has a recommendation. If somebody does want to get started and wants to explore this a little bit more for their anxiety, their overwhelm, their stress, what would be the best way to like take that first step?
absolutely. I will throw my disclaimer here about how I'm not a medical professional. Um, so I can't treat me or diagnose anything.
Yes, yes,
Is it cool if we talk for a minute about AromaFreedom? Because I feel like
absolutely.
in
Go
terms
for
of,
it.
you mentioned trauma a little bit, and
Yeah.
you mentioned using it for emotional, and that's my passion. Like, oils work for everything, for animals and for kids and for physical stuff and emotional stuff. But in my line of work, when you were introducing me, you said you were going to ask what a trauma informed SEL consultant is. So
Yes, I
um,
forgot. Thanks for reminding
the,
me.
the SEL is the acronym for social and emotional learning. So my background's in education, and I'm really passionate about making sure that kids are educated in a holistic way. So academically, socially, and emotionally. The problem with uh, some of the struggles around introducing social and emotional learning in schools is that there is so much trauma. So oh, Doug's talking about Chance. Chance is his Weimaraner who uses lots of oils. Doug's like the pro at making hiking blends for dogs. But Doug is also an educator, so he could probably chime in on this idea about just what kids need as far, and teachers. So in schools, I train teachers and I work with kids because I want to make sure that the trauma informed piece goes to everyone. And a big part of that is acknowledging the fact that nobody knows each other's stories, especially in a classroom with 30 people. But another part of that is just realizing the basics. So you've referenced things like triggers and associations and just being
Yeah,
dysregulated. This conversation that you and I are having is not yet the norm in
yeah,
education circles. Like, there's a
right,
lot
right,
of educators who would be unsure what we mean by a dysregulated nervous system. They would
right,
just
right.
be like, I feel like I'm going to pull my hair out. And I'm like, that's a dysregulated nervous system.
Yeah,
So I am blessed to have the background in education, the passion, and tools like this to really help people understand emotional trauma in a really easy way. But I think sometimes what happens when people realize how common trauma is, and that there's little t trauma and big T trauma. You said a lot of people are like, well, I never had something terrible happen to me, but it doesn't have to be like some life altering crisis. There's smaller things that cause emotional trauma, as you mentioned earlier. And so what I love about the AromaFreedom Technique is that it allows people who, no matter what experiences they've had, right? So it allows them to be like, I have this goal, I want to achieve this thing, and I keep getting in my own way. Like, big part of me wants to do this, some part of me is stopping this. And, in trauma work, we understand, various parts and whatnot. But the oils make it really easy to not have to have a degree in neuroscience. And it basically, the way the technique works is that people connect to the whatever the limiting belief is. So say I want to, I'll give you an example from my own life just to really make it clear for the listeners. when I wanted to write my first book, I got like 3/4 of the way done and I just stopped. And I was like, wait a second, clearly I know what I'm talking about and I want to do this and I know how to do this, but there was just complete freeze. So I was able to use this technique and use the oils and be like, what is the limiting belief here that is stopping me from this goal? And so the way the process works is that you connect with the limiting belief, but you don't just think about the belief, you notice how it makes you feel. So you're connecting to the thought, the emotion, and you're locating in your body, because so many of us get stuck in our heads and we forget that we have a body. So the way the technique works is the thought, the feeling, where it is in your body, and you also get a picture of it in your mind if you can picture whatever the obstacle is. So when you use a particular blend of oils, so 3 oils in particular. So if I was going to recommend something, so your question was, what would I recommend to get started? The 3 oils that Dr. Benjamin Perkis, he's the one who wrote the AromaFreedom Technique. He certified me to do this technique. He discovered that if you blend frankincense, lavender, and the Stress Away blend, which the main constituent in that is vanilla, which is interesting considering your role.
Interesting.
So he noticed in his clinical psychology practice, he's a clinical psychologist, he noticed in practice that when he combined those 3 oils and he was having people connect with the memory, the emotion, the place in the body, that they were able to take the charge out of whatever the memory was. And that's why it's called the aroma freedom, because once the charge is gone, then you can recontextualize, your intuition gets louder, and your logical mind is also available. So you kind of get the best of both worlds. And from that place, then you can create action steps. And I don't think a lot of people realize that when we're stuck in fight or flight, that we don't have as much access to our logic or our intuition.
Yes. That's I love that. So now I'm thinking I have to come to you like tomorrow and get that blend, because that's something I would really like. Oh, hi, Maine. Maine is here. Hi. Come on over here, Maine. I'm going to put the headphones on her because I want Maine to talk about, you remember Patty?
Hi, Maine. I'm excited to see her.
So, Maine, I want you to tell the viewers, the listeners, about your experience with Patty and how you wanted to use your.
I can't hear anything.
Oh, right. I have to give her this. So that's what you're going to do, okay? And I'll have Patty ask you some questions about your experience because I won't be able to hear you. So I'm going to put the headphones on Maine, and you're just going to talk about what you experienced with Patty when you went in for your aromatherapy, okay?
Hello, ASMR.
Ooh.
Can you hear?
Yes.
Okay.
Hello.
Hi.
Talking to you.
I'm so excited to see you again.
I remember you from the scent. I still have the scents.
Oh, you have your roller?
Yes.
So Maine, tell the audience what you built. What type of scent you built? Do you remember what it was?
I think it was a kid, it was a kid blend and the vanilla.
Yeah, it was the Kids Genius blend and the vanilla. So, and you tried a couple of them too. You really liked the Joy blend too, but that was your favorite one. So, yes. How has your roller helped you since I saw you the last time? Do you use it?
Yes, I use it this much.
Oh, that's awesome.
Tell the
And how does it
story
make you
about the
feel when you use
essence
it? Does
oil.
it help you feel a little bit more calm?
Yes. It makes me feel, I smell a lot better.
That's
So when do
great.
you use the roller the most? When do you pull it out and say, I have to use my roller
On tests.
on tests? So when you get a little nervous, and then what happens when you smell it?
Wait, can they hear you?
Yeah, they can hear me.
Okay. So, wait, what?
So when you smell it, when you're stressed or when you're nervous about your test at school, what happens?
I got a good grade when I put it on.
And the teacher in me loves that, but so does the oil lover. So, and you have the little crystals in your roller too, right?
Yes.
And I snuck some of those in your mom's bag, so you have extras.
Yeah, and you actually made it yourself, and this was an oil blend that no one else had made. Patty said this was the first one. And so, do you feel calm when you smell the oils, or do you feel excited? What do you feel when you smell the oils?
I feel calm. I feel like I'm confident,
Oh, that's good.
and I feel fresh.
I love that.
I don't like Irish Spring, the soap, right, babe?
Yeah.
Yeah, great. Can I have my headphones on now?
No.
No, I know. I have
You
to
just
talk
stay
back
here
to
and hang
Patty
out
because
with
I have
me,
to tell
but
people about her website and everything. Unless, can you read this banner and talk about how to get in touch with Patty if people would like to talk to her?
oh, she's
Let's
gonna
see. I'm
promote
gonna
me. I
pull it
love
up.
this.
Can I put them up?
So can
Yeah.
you read that?
Connect with Patty on Instagram at Patty McLean.
Oh, I mean, you did a better job than me.
Seriously.
So, Patty has a little promo for the viewers we're going to talk about. So
Wait, hold on. I need to do ASMR.
That's just something where you listen to sound to calm down.
Yeah, very
So
regular.
Patty, for our, we always on the lounge, we have viewer promos and they always get a little bonus who's ever watching tonight. And so what is Patty's promo? Can you read that?
Viewer promo at
Just
the
read it.
little dots. Anyone who orders essential oils from me in the next me?
No, Patty.
Oh. Anyone who orders essential oils from Patty McLean in the next 24 hours will get a free
AFT.
mini session via Zoom.
You made that like really, really exciting, and I think people will
I'm
get
gonna
it just
save
because
that
of
as
how
my
exciting
promo
it
for
is.
the rest of my life.
All right. Thank you, ma'am. No, I have to take these back now.
I wanna give shout outs to people at the end.
Okay, at the end. Okay, so can you just step aside for just a minute? Thank you. You can stay here. Thanks, Patty. So I just wanted to show people that kids get really excited about essential oils. Very excited.
That was the best. I'm just gonna have to save that as my promotional reel. I think if she's for hire, that made my entire week right there.
Oh yeah, you could download the replay after you're done. Edit that part and use it. That's fine.
Awesome.
That's totally fine. But yes, if you're watching, listening, watching the replay even, so to get this, so anyone who who orders, that will be me, in the next 24 hours gets a free AFT mini session. So can you tell me what AFT? Oh,
So I'm sorry, that's the abbreviation for the AromaFreedom Technique.
Oh, okay.
So that'll allow them to have some steps if they want to practice, like once they have the oils and they want to use them on themselves. Like if something comes up, they won't need to be live with me. I can actually just teach them how to do it.
Awesome. Okay, so if you want to connect with Patty in the next 24 hours and take advantage of this special, I'm going to be taking advantage of this special because I'm a big Maine. That's not too nice. Okay. You will connect with Patty on Instagram at Patty McLean, and and Maine. And you will send her a direct message and say, "Hey, I was watching The Lounge and I would like to order some oil." And then she will say, "Great." and she will advise you on what to do from there. I don't know. I'm just making up what Patty's
No,
going to do.
perfect. That's exactly what I'm going to do. Yeah, the link was too long to put up on the screen, and that way I can help guide you if you're like, I don't know which oils I want. I'm happy to consult. I'll be around all weekend.
Awesome. And Megan is saying, what an awesome gift when you order from Patty in the next 24 hours. I mean, that is so generous. Like, seriously, like everybody should do it right now. Everybody. Thank you so much, Patty. We're coming to the end of the show, but is there any? Okay, we're not ready, but I'll let you know. Okay. So
I hope
she likes.
Out.
Yeah, I know. Everybody's like, please have Maine do a shout out for me. So she likes to read the chat and then like do like she likes to read the people's names and shout them out. Say, hey, good night, so yeah. Good night, so we're not ready just yet, Maine, but I'll let you know.
Can I watch?
Sure, you can watch. It's fine. So, Patty, is there anything else that we missed tonight that you would want to say or talk about, or have we gotten everything?
Probably just to wrap it all up in a nutshell. I've done a lot of healing work and I've done a lot of trauma modalities, and I feel like a couple of them were really complicated. So when I discovered the oils and I realized how gentle they were for supporting my emotions and allowing me to shift and calm down, then it just opened up the possibility that it gets to be easy. And not to discount the real work that happens, but sometimes it just takes the right tool to create a shift, and we don't have to necessarily overcomplicate it.
You know what? I'm not going to overcomplicate it at this point. I'm not going to say, Patty, let's look through all your oils and I'm going to smell them and make another blend. I'm just going to say, Patty, I would like the whole frankincense thing. I'm ordering it right now. And then I'm just going to get on the Zoom. That's what we're doing. So let's not complicate it. What you're all going to do, you're just going to go to Patty's Instagram. That's what you're going to do. You're going to take the action step. Go to Patty's Instagram. You're not going to get this deal anywhere else. Seriously, this is a great opportunity to work with Patty, educate yourself on the oils, and have a great experience. And it's grounding for the nervous system. This is something that if you're a student of mine taking my nervous system course, my intuitive development course, you need to get this oil. So, and we're going to have
the valor. That's what you have.
So the valor.
If you're in this class and you need some grounding, make sure you mention that in the DM.
Yeah, you need my special Marisa's blend. That's what you need because it'll work for you. So just make sure you connect with Patty on Instagram, send her a DM, and say, I was watching on the lounge, and you will be surprised and happy. Thank you, Patty, for coming. I hope you had a fun time on the lounge tonight.
I absolutely did. This was wonderful. Thank you so much. Thank you for everybody who's hanging out here with us tonight on a Friday night. I know it's really cold.
I know. And if you are just tuning in, I would urge you, if the replay is going to be up all the time, just go back to the replay, watch the beginning. And Maine is going to sign off and say goodnight to some of our guests. So hopefully if you get your name called out, you're getting a special energetic nightly message for goodnight. So Maine, are you ready? Okay.
Yeah.
I have to stay for the shout outs. This is great.
Okay, so do your thing, Maine. But you gotta talk in the mic.
I need to hear.
You need to hear? What do you need to hear?
I need to hear.
Okay.
Can I post a comment?
No, you're just gonna sign people off.
Okay. Can I have the mouse?
Yep.
This is what the mouse looks like. And so, shout out to Megan Lynn.
Yay, Megan!
Okay, I'm just going through this. And then a shout out to Kimberly McGaska.
Close enough. That's Lenka. You got it.
What else? Douglas, right?
Okay, and then next up, Douglas Womersdorf.
Oh, you did a really good job with that one. That's a tough one.
Next one is Angela Julia, where she said exactly 100%.
Yes.
And then the next one is Ave Marie Bori.
Yay!
Oh, there's another one down at the bottom.
Oh, Karen Bawarta.
Good night, Karen.
Good night.
Let's see. Yeah, I think you got everybody that's
No,
in
no.
the chat.
I need to check more. StreamYard. Media Marisa Liza Pell.
Yeah, thank you,
Me. And then you, Patty.
Oh, we're gonna shout out the three of us, right?
Okay.
And you got an ASMR.
Thank you, May.
Oh. Thank you.
This is something we used to do in the pandemic, like every single time. Maine would sign people off. So thanks
Well,
so much, everybody.
Bye.
Good night.
Bye.
Everybody have a great weekend. Stay warm, stay safe. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.